Can Josh Dobbs one day become a starter in the NFL? That brings us to our next quarterback. And again, the two quarterbacks we're talking about today is Josh Dobbs and also as well Stetson Bennett. Check out our other episode for Stetson Bennett where we make the case for him maybe one day being a starter in the NFL. Check that out. We actually might shock you. It's probably not exactly what you think. Check it out. Get in here. Josh Dobbs. Okay, Josh Dobbs, man. I'm going through his Wikipedia page. Pittsburgh Steelers, Jaguars, Pittsburgh Steelers, Browns, Lions, Titans, Browns, Arizona Cardinals, Minnesota Vikings 2023, and then there's the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this guy, he had an amazing, when he played at Tennessee from 2013 to 2016, dude, Josh Dobbs was the man. He was very, very accurate, very, very articulate on the field. He could pick apart defenses. He was phenomenal. He was that guy in high school that threw for 3,600 yards and 29 touchdowns. It was really just a three-star recruit who made the most out of every opportunity. So we're starting to take and see a habit of him doing that. Now, I'll be honest with you, when he was with the Steelers in 2017, I'm like, wow, this is a potential replacement for Ben Roethlisberger one day, because I loved his college tape that much. He did not wow me when I saw him. It was very messy. He's not quite the player he is today. But then there was last year where he played for the Cardinals. He was on 3 teams last year: the Browns, Cards, Vikings. And dude, for him to pick up a playbook within a week, within a week of being 5 days of it being on the team, and say, hey, you're gonna take and be the starter. He, number one, dude is a rocket scientist, no pun intended. He is
literal rocket science.
There's no joke. There's no punchline. I don't have a meme to pop up on the screen. I wish I did.
Yeah.
He's just that guy who is super smart, who could pick up information quick. You know, and there's people out there like that. There's a YouTuber my wife and I were watching the other night. This guy, he learns languages for fun. And that's his YouTube channel. He just picks up stuff for fun. He is a white dude who speaks Swahili and Vietnamese and Spanish and all these different languages. That's Josh Dobbs when it comes to NFL playbooks. Mm-hmm. That's literally Josh Dobbs. So the question here today for everybody is, can Josh Dobbs one day become a starter in the NFL? Because I'm going to say this, within the last 2 years, I've saw a lot of stuff that I like, and this is not the young man who was drafted in 2017. Soup, take it away.
Man, yeah, so, okay. Not a whole lot of context like I had to preface with Stetson Bennett. I really do think that Josh Dobbs can be a starting quarterback in this league. I don't think he's a star, but I think he's a solid player. The PASS-tranaught is what they call him, right? Like, the guy is a literal rocket scientist, and his athleticism, he's more athletic than you would think, and he's got a good arm. He's got a good sense of the field. Sometimes he makes some boneheaded plays, but I think what Josh Dobbs needs more than anything is a place to call home for a little bit. Because he has bounced around to so many different teams and done so many systems. And don't get me wrong, he's made the most of the opportunities he's given. Every time they've put him on the field, he's put up some highlight reel stuff. I mean, last season, like he went down to Arizona, he won some games in Cleveland, went to Arizona, won some games, then went up to Minnesota, won some games. I think I would have liked to see him, by the way, for the record, I would have loved to see him stay in Minnesota, because I think him and coach up there, Kevin O'Connell, I think they could have built something. But I also think that Kevin O'Connell knows that skill set is so good that, like, man, he might mess around and challenge legitimately for the QB1 in like a bridge situation. But like, I think if Josh Dobbs could find somebody to just like love on him and lean on him and let him get into a system, let him play with the ones, right? Not just after your team is all the way broken down and he's having to pick it up with bits and pieces and stuff like that. Really get a full off season of work in there and let him get an honest competition. I think Josh Dobbs is a very viable quarterback in the NFL. This is a guy that's he's too smart for it not to work.
Yeah. And
he makes too many wow plays that you can't tell me that with time, the wow plays become consistent. He's not gonna be Justin. He's not gonna be Caleb Williams. He's not gonna be Patrick Mahomes. But do I think that Josh Dobbs could get to like, a Dak Prescott-ish sort of level where he's gonna win you a bunch of games, probably won't win you a championship, but he's always gonna have you in a position to win. Yeah, I do. I really do. And the thing that I like the most about Josh Dobbs, other than the stuff that I see on the field, is all the stuff that I see off the field. He's kind of taking this whole thing in stride. He's having fun with it. He's making jokes. I remember when he was down in Arizona, he had won like 2 games, and he went to go buy his jersey in this team shop, and they didn't have his jersey, so they had to like make him a custom jersey because they didn't have his jersey in the custom shop. And he made like a video about it. He's like, "Hey, can we get a jersey?" And then the next day, of course, PR had a jersey for him and stuff like that. So he's out here, he's having fun with the situation. But I love his humility. I love the way that he's attacking it. And he sees everything as an opportunity. And he knows, like, nothing's going to be given to me. I got to go out here and I got to play like this is my last snap of football. And this is a guy that, like I said, he's a literal rocket science. He's got stuff waiting for him post-football that he can go do that's going to be meaningful to society, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's playing this game because he's passionate about it, because he loves it. I think it would be a shame if he doesn't get it. And there's a couple teams that when I look across the landscape of the NFL, that I'm like, man, I'm not saying he's going to be your quarterback for the next 7 years, but for the next 3 years, while you guys are trying to get to that place, Josh Dobbs is going to could be a good fit over here, assuming that everything else could go. Like, I just like, do you really think, and the Jets are a terrible example because the Jets are the Jets and they're run how they're run, right? And so until they fix their back office, like, it's not going to be. But I'm talking about a team like that, right, where there's clearly talent all over the roster. You have an aging quarterback and one that's probably on his last legs. Not saying that he's not good, but he's probably on his last legs. You're going to be there's too much talent on there for you to be taking a number 1 overall pick. Is there a guy that you can get in there that's going to be serviceable, like a situation like that? Josh Dobbs is a guy that I was even campaigning, like, put him on the Rams. Put him on the Rams. Let him sit behind Matt Stafford. Let him soak up what Coach McVay and stuff is doing. I think he's smart enough to process it, to handle it. I want to see it. He has all the physical traits. This is a guy, once again, if a Matthew Stafford had went down and we put in Josh Dobbs, I feel much better about what we have under center. I'm still nervous because he's not Matt Stafford, but I feel much better about that. But I think if you have a system like that, and I think the situation in San Francisco is ideal for him, right? It's a talent-rich roster. It's a talent-rich roster. And I think Kyle Shanahan is one of those guys that, in terms of play calling and scheme, like, he's got probably some of the most complex systems in the NFL. Josh Dobbs is the guy to execute that. You got a guy like Brock Purdy in there. I think Josh Dobbs is a perfect complement to that, right? Bigger arm, more athletic, not as good with the decision-making as Brock, but like has more of the physical traits. This is a good situation for him. God forbid something happened to Purdy. And I say that as a Rams fan, I don't want players to get injured. I don't wish good on the 49ers, but I don't want players to get injured. The people.
Yeah. He's a Rams fan, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the show, first time watching, Snoop, he's trying to be modest. He's a Rams fan.
I love the game of football. I love the game of football too much. And at the end of the day, even though these are players on teams that I absolutely can't stand, like, these are still human beings. Like, there's a life that happens off the field for these people. I would hate for them to be missing out on aspects of that because of things that occurred in their job. I think if something did happen to Purdy, I think the 49ers keep rolling, because I think Josh Dobbs is strong enough. So, yeah, can he be a starting quarterback? I feel a lot more confident in him being able to be a starting quarterback at this point in his career than I do with Stetson Bennett, just because of what he's shown and what he continues to show. This last weekend for preseason? Come on. If you're a 49ers fan, you're like, "Ooh, is this what life without Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk is going to look like for Brock Purdy?" I don't know if this is the guy that we're staring down the barrel of.
Did you see him run into the end zone where he put his hand on the ground and kept going? Man, I'm such a Josh Dobbs believer. I think he could win a starting role after this, because, forgive me if I'm wrong, I think he has a 1-year contract with the 49ers.
Yeah, it's a 1 year.
So I could see him being a New Orleans Saint next year. I could take and see him maybe playing for the Carolina Panthers. I'm talking about as a starter, not as a backup, as a starter. Dare I say the Dallas Cowboys. He could be a Dallas Cowboy next year and be a bridge QB until they find what they really like.
Well, I keep saying that the New York Giants, but I'm not
Oh,
gonna hold
man.
you.
The
I'm not gonna
Giants
hold
are the Cowboys of the Northeast.
you. Well,
I said it.
they really will be in the offseason when they pick
I
Dak Prescott
said
to
it.
be their new starting quarterback.
They're so ridiculous. But ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and comment below. That's the episode for the day. The previous episode is can Stetson Bennett one day be a starting quarterback in this league? And of course, this episode, can Josh Dobbs be a starting quarterback in this league? You guys comment below and let me know your thoughts, scenarios. I want to hear, and we'll see you guys in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, okay? Hit the bell for the alerts for when new episodes come out. God bless you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Thank you for watching another episode of The Touchdown with Doug Smith, where we have exclusive NFL content and exclusive NFL interviews. Be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. See you on the next one.